Welcome to TLC, where we dive into the heart of our local community, its wineries, restaurants, business, and real estate. Hi, I'm your host, Troy Anderson, along with my co-host, Pamela, and we are here to bring you a new perspective on what's happening in our community.
We sure are.
This week, we have a guest on the show, Mary Peterson with Northwest Outdoor Lighting. Welcome to the show, Mary.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
Yes,
Yeah.
fantastic.
I'm excited for this. I want to hear all about lighting.
I know.
I can
it's so
inundate you
cool.
with a
Oh,
lot
I
of
know.
data.
Having spoken to you a few times at like chamber events, I love everything you have to say, so I'm excited for our listeners to hear it too. But before we jump into that,
And her tagline is fantastic,
I know.
too.
Tell us your tagline before we do the next bit.
We bring light to darkness.
I love it.
I love it, too.
It's like we had the other week. We had sunshine, summer in a glass, and then we've
Yeah.
got bringing light to darkness. I like that. These
Uh-huh.
taglines are brilliant.
Especially around here in the Pacific Northwest. Everyone
Yeah.
needs a little light.
Especially come December.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. All right, Troy. So we're going to jump into sipping on success. What do you have for us this week?
I have got a newly released Sauvignon Blanc from Goose Ridge, one of our favorite wineries to feature. I heard someone might like Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes, it's one of my favorites.
It is the white wine for red wine drinkers. Are you a red wine drinker usually?
I
or-
am.
Okay.
I
yeah.
do everything.
Okay.
Red, white, sparkling.
I think you'd mentioned that once before that it's.
I think I
the-
did, yeah.
Yeah, the red
Yeah.
wine drinkers white wine, which is a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
If I'm just being honest.
So Cabernet Sauvignon is a red grape, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it came from a Cabernet Franc and a Sauvignon Blanc blend. Don't ask me how they did that, but
Okay. You should know.
I
I'm just kidding.
I don't know, years and years and years and years ago, centuries ago. So anyhow, so that's the story behind Sauv Blanc.
Okay. And you said this is a new release from Goose Ridge?
It is. It just came out. It's a 2022, so it's only been in the bottle for a little while.
Okay.
Should be nice and crisp and fresh. We'll give it a
Okay.
taste here in a minute.
A young one. Last week we had an old one. This week we've got a young
We
one.
did, didn't we?
Mhm. Yeah, we had a 2015 last week.
Wow.
So, okay. It looks very
Gorgeous.
yeah, it has that really nice golden hue to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I look at it and I think it's going to taste like pears, and I haven't even tried it.
You've got preconceived notion, huh?
I do.
All right.
Let's hope if it, let's see if it is, or if I'm just pulling stuff out.
Close your eyes.
Yeah.
Close your eyes
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Smell it first and then drink it down. This is from the Goose Gap appellation over there in Columbia Valley, but they have tasting rooms right here in Woodinville, or a tasting room right here in Woodinville, and others scattered across the state, Leavenworth, Richland, Walla Walla.
Yeah, they do indeed. And you haven't tried the one in Woodinville. Got a great patio, especially for this time of year. Fantastic place to sit and enjoy a
Yeah.
glass of red or white or rosé or cider
Yeah,
or spirit. I mean, they've just got everything going on.
they've branched out for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, pass it over then,
Okay,
Troy.
here
Let's
you
see
go.
what we're
Here
doing.
we go.
Okay.
Right, so cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome
Their
to the
Woodinville
show.
Wine Country glasses.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it smells lovely.
Yeah, it's a little tart.
That's
Crisp.
good. Mm.
I taste melon.
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 What did you say before? Pear?
I said pear, but I
Yeah.
taste melon.
Hmm.
I did Mary's idea of closing my eyes, which is actually quite good because I'm like, okay, the first note I get is that kind of melon.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely very juicy. The kind of that after is it makes you salivate just a little.
It does.
It's dry, but it's not dry.
It's not in your
Yeah,
face dry.
yeah, I know what you mean. It's like there's a hint on the edges that dries the tongue, but the rest, like the middle of your tongue,
Yeah,
is just kind
that's
of
really good.
yeah. Oh, well
Oh,
done,
good.
Goose Ridge.
Nice.
Well done, Troy. Right, I'm just going to sit back and drink this. You guys can get on
Yeah,
with it.
we
No, I'm
just
kidding.
chat it up.
All right, so you picked this one because it's a new release. So we knew that Mary enjoyed a Sauvignon Blanc. Any
And-
other kind of things to note about Goose Ridge and their Sauvignon Blancs in general?
Not necessarily, other than they're super tasty. They're good to drink on the porch.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say it.
It's not a porch pounder, though.
Good.
Yeah, we have to say that every show, I think.
Yeah, I think that might be one of our, little verbiages, but
It's like, where's Waldo? When's the porch pounder
when
gonna come
yes,
out?
exactly. I think what I appreciate about this wine is, like you said, it's not one of those ones that you can like just chug, right?
Right.
It's not.
Yeah, no.
It feels like it would be completely wasted if you didn't take your time with it. Even though
Exactly.
it's new and it has a little bit of that youngness to it, there's just some complexities that start to build as you take the next
You
sip.
want to savor every sip.
Yeah, you do, because
Yeah.
you're not sure what note you're going to get next on the tongue. It's
I think,
interesting.
last.
I think when it warms up a little bit, it might bring out a little bit more complexity to it
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
pretty cold.
Yeah, it's pretty cold right
Mhm.
now.
Although that's pretty nice on a hot summer
Yeah.
evening.
I know. Should we just take this outside?
We should take the show
I
outside.
just
We'd
grab
get all
my-
kinds of noises, wouldn't
Yeah,
we?
we would. That would be interesting for
Yeah.
me to edit out. But
Yeah.
yeah. All
Well,
right.
I like it. That's yeah,
Mhm.
kudos. And it's in a typical Sauv Blanc typically comes in a skinny bottle. This is more of a Syrah or Chardonnay style bottle. So
I don't think
don't-
I've ever noticed a difference.
I was just going to say the same thing, Mary. I'm not sure I paid that much attention to the shape of the bottle, but
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing
Sauv
that now.
Blanc
Right.
usually comes in like it's a Bordeaux style bottle where they're skinnier
Okay.
and taller.
And then Rieslings are usually very narrow,
very
right?
very skinny.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only one that I noticed the difference with. I'll be like,
Now we'll be on the lookout.
I know, we'll be going to the grocery store like, okay, look at that, look at that.
We'll sound like a real sommelier.
I know. We can pretend,
Like you know
right?
what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a great drink for summer. I mean, you can drink it all year round, but it feels like it's a real, like, sit on the patio, savor, enjoy good conversation, maybe a few nibbles, and just really relax with this.
Very nice.
Yeah. I
Well
like
done, Goose Ridge. I like it.
it. All right.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Should we
that's
take a break?
yeah, sipping on success for another week. Let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk all things outdoor lighting with Mary Peterson.
Awesome.
All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back
Right back.
after this really short break.
This podcast is brought to you by JB Family Growers. Hey, homeowners and aspiring buyers looking for a real estate team who are about you and your community? Look no further than Tend Home Team. We are here to help you navigate the sometimes overwhelming world of real estate. From buying to selling, we've got your back. Let's work together to find your dream home or sell your current one. Contact us today, tendhometeam.com. Let's get started. Welcome back to TLC, Tend Life Community Podcast. I'm Troy Anderson along with Pamela and our special guest, Mary Peterson. In this segment, we're going to have a chance to learn all about outdoor lighting.
That's right.
So we're thrilled to have you on the show today, Mary. Can you share with our listeners the story behind Northwest Outdoor Lighting, how the family got started and what inspired you?
Oh, yeah. Well, my husband and I started outdoor lighting in another state back east many moons ago. The manufacturer of the lighting was our neighbor.
Oh,
And Mike Craig was actually called in as a business consultant to help them, in their sales office, in their, different departments. And he came home one evening and was like, this is a really good business. We should start our own thing. We have 4 kids, and at the time, the last, 2 were just about out of the house. I had been home educating for many, many years, and all of a sudden I'm catching myself with nothing to do. So we started this business. Unbeknownst to me, I was just like, sure, I'll do anything you want to do. And we just, do everything together. And all of a sudden, it became very apparent what a fantastic business this is. Very much needed in the community where we were at. Now, there were probably at least a half a dozen other competitors.
oh wow.
They were all being fed businesses via different contractors, electricians. They had lots of leads. I didn't have that. So it was advised to me by my husband and our neighbor, go walk the neighborhood and knock on doors.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
old school.
I said, okay,
Wow. You're a real sales lady.
I guess so. And I came to soon realize I didn't know what I was talking about. I sold some jobs. I don't know how I did that. I was hiring another competitor. I was hiring their team to install. And after
really?
a short time, Craig had said to me, we went back one evening to, view the project, talked with a new client, and we realized, it wasn't as neat and tidy as we would have liked it. Craig's like, you don't have to do this anymore. We'll do this ourselves. So that's when I got down into the dirt, installing the landscape lighting that I
wow.
sold.
Mm-hmm.
My nails got nice and dirty, but I learned. I'm a hands-on learner.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned from soup to nuts, everything. And when we wanted to move back west here, we love the PNW. We sold that company. We had hundreds of clients. We wanted to make sure they were taken care of. And we moved back here and schooled Northwest Outdoor Lighting up and running.
When was that?
Technically, Northwest Outdoor Lighting started in 2006, 2007
Okay.
for our older son who was living out here in Duval. He had gotten laid off from his job. And we said, oh, we'll get you hooked up. And we got him a truck and some equipment and said, go do it.
You threw him into the deep end, Mary.
Threw him in there. And by 2012, he was, back at work. He now had 4 kids. And he's like,
Oh, wow.
I can't be doing a full-time job and doing this. So we're like, perfect. We'll come back and we'll start managing that all. And so that was in 2012. We returned back to the PNW and have been going 90 miles an hour since.
Wow, yeah, you always seem like a lady on a mission every time I meet you, which is fantastic. It means you're obviously thrilled for what you do and really, love what you do and appreciate what your clients need from you. But having a family-owned and operated business often brings some interesting dynamics, to work. Can you tell us more about the role your family members play at Northwest Outdoor Night? Now, you and I have spoken kind of in depth at, some of these chamber events that we've been to, and I love how you've gone from it being you and your husband, and then it was your son, and now it's kind of expanded into the family. So it's really very much a family owned and operated business. So I think, our audience would love to hear more about how that dynamic works and who exactly is involved, because it's grown exponentially,
It
right?
really has. And it's so funny because, you start something, you don't envision down the line that you'll have your kids and grandchildren working with you.
Wow.
In 2017, social media was really coming into play, and me being very businessy. I am posting business pictures, and our oldest daughter, Katie, was saying, "Mom, that's you got to do better than that. You got to post pictures of you and Dad." I'm like, "Who cares about us?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "You do it." So in 2017, Katie, our oldest daughter, took over the social media. She now is our marketing director.
Oh, wow.
Manages our website, SEO, Google Ads, everything, client communication. So that's her whole territory. And it's like, great, you can take that. In about 2018, 2019, again, it's just Craig and I still doing all of the work, all the sales, all the designing, all the installs. And we finally hired our youngest son, Max. And so now I could come off the field and just stay in the office doing all the administration, fielding all the phone calls and emails, and Max and Craig were out on the field. And then in about 2021, Craig suffered a neck injury, and it just wound up, and it just took him out of the job. And so in the early part of 2022, I went back on the field.
Oh.
Because Craig couldn't move at all.
Oh, no.
So he's going through lots of, therapies and trying to get well. And I'm back on the field, and I'm still in the office.
Oh, geez.
And I was probably near tears in 3 months.
Right.
I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
And you're so involved in the community, too.
Well, I tend to just keep putting things on my plate without taking things off my plate.
Wow.
Our business coach, we hired a business coach probably in late 2020, 21, and they advised we need to hire. And I literally was advertising and could not find help. And I thought I was advertising a fairly good pay, like you're just here to do digging in the dirt. But we ended up hiring our oldest son away from his job. Oh. And so we got our 2 boys working for us. Zach came on last year. And that first week, Max, Zach, and myself were working on a project. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be awesome. So it's just been fantastic to have them. We also have a couple of our in-laws. So my son, Zach, his wife, Melissa, she's our administrator, office administrator, and our financial bookkeeper.
Wow.
So she's able to keep all the receipts organized, and it's just like, here's a pile. our future daughter-in-law, Jacqueline, she is our shop manager. She takes care of all the inventory, all of the projects that come in, unboxing, setting up, getting everything organized. And she's also on the field and helping the guys out a couple of days a week, and she enjoys that part. She feeds Katie, pictures when she's on a project. Hey, check this out. So just everyone is working out really well. We've got a couple of older grandsons, 14, 15 years old. So we're starting to pull them in on small things. Craig has been off the field for a good year and a half now, but he's still, very active when he's not with me, meeting the clients and doing design work. He can be doing very unique projects. And so now we're pulling in our grandsons like, hey, we need an extra set of hands. Or even just someone to sit in the passenger seat so Craig can drive in the HOV lane.
That's a
handy.
smart move.
Very handy.
I love that. I love that you just kind of building, and having all of your family members in it. And I think then, not that there's anything, to say that having outside influences come in and help work, but when it's your family, I think you take on a whole different kind of level of passion for the way you work. And kind of, how does having your family all work for you influence the company's culture and values?
You don't really know what you don't know until you find out. It's so interesting to see each one of our kids. And I know I'm going to sound like a mom, but my kids are geniuses. They're awesome.
Of course they are.
They each have their unique abilities, and to see them shine in that area. I don't do social media. My daughter, Katie, how does she know that? Yet she does her thing. And so each one of them, we have set up knowing their unique skills instead of placing them in a job like just fill this hole.
Right.
Take them, understand what their skill sets are, and then say, oh, we have a job we know where we can put you in. So Zach is our lead technician on the installs, and he took over Craig's job. And Max is our project manager. He is phenomenal with the customers. So he takes the time to talk with them, help them understand what is going on, answer any questions they have. And so each one has their unique skills that just really accentuate, makes us look great. I get constant emails from our customers. Now, we normally don't go bragging around like, these are our children. And they'll be saying, Mary, these crew you have, they're amazing. They're so sweet. They do this. And I'm like, I know, they're my boys. They're like, what? So it's just really amazing to have such phenomenal people working with us, and they're our kids.
I like that. I think because, Troy, you probably agree with this, but as business owners, even your family, so you're finding what their niches are and what they're good at, and you're placing them in that position. But that's maybe a good kind of thing for other people to think about their own businesses, is finding out the skill sets of the people that you hire, and not necessarily just plugging them into a role that you have, but kind of, it's like square hole, round hole, square peg, trying to kind of funnel them in a different direction, maybe, as because then it just helps you as a business owner really thrive.
Exactly.
Yeah, what was it? The book, Jim Collins, he said you have to not just be on the bus, but you have to be in the right seat on the bus in the business. So
that's a good analogy.
Find the right person for the right particular skill set. And that's not easy. So that is so cool that your family can fill those spots.
Yeah, we have invested in them. We have a business consultant, as I mentioned, and we have gone through various different testings, and we spend time with them on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, whatnot.
That's important.
It is. It's really been interesting. In 2020, Craig turned 60, and our financial advisor, we were talking with them one day, and he's like, so when Craig retires, and I'm like, that's so far away. So I don't know, a lot of people don't know that I met Craig when I was 11. So we've been together forever.
Wow.
And so to think of retirement, you're like, that's so far away. And he goes, Mary, that's in 10 years. And I'm like, what? And so that was the catalyst to find a business consultant to help us get ready. Like, we're eventually going to retire someday. What do we do with the business?
Right.
And so it has just been an extra blessing to have all this insight and guidance and the various testings, and then you can see, oh wow, we're all innovators on this team. Okay, now we have to learn how to take a step back, slow down, and just how do we implement these great ideas.
Right. Sounds like you might have a little bit of a succession plan.
Oh, a little bit.
She's forward thinking, that's
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. You got to think about that for sure. So I know your expertise is in outdoor lighting, which really can significantly increase the ambiance of homes. Is there any notable projects that you have done that you want to share with people, or anything you can think of? I know that you said that people are calling with accolades all the time.
I know. My boys are great. It's there's so many fun things. We really feel like each project is our baby. You know, if we're driving by and I'm like, oh, I see a light askew. I'll have to send the guys out, make sure that path light is plumb. But we do have some fantastic properties. I mean, there's some beautiful properties here in the PNW, and when we're given that freedom to just design as you would. Some of our clients will say that, like, I only want to do this once. I don't want to think about it again. Other clients are like, I really love what they do, but I can't do it all at once. That's perfectly fine. We'll break it up into segments. But when we're given that freedom, Craig and myself, our design aesthetic is more subtle. And I know I sell lighting, but I like the night skies. I want to see the stars at night. I want to make sure where I'm walking is safe and secure, that no one's stumbling. But I don't want to create another airport. We have 2 of them already. So when we're given that freedom to design in that soft, warm aesthetic and be very unique, you can imagine I have a lot of competition. You can buy a kit off the store shelf and throw lights in and call yourself a lighting designer. A lot of different companies will, I'll throw a plant in, I'll stick, a light on it. We're very strategic in our design process. We have very unique products, and so we're able to put lighting where you could never get a light bulb anywhere. One of my fixtures is a 1-inch cube. It's that small.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And then with our, fabulous installers, to be able to grind into concrete, to grind into marble, to inlay the wiring, to put a light where you need it, and then afterwards the customer's going, how did you do that? Like, well, if I tell you, I'll have to kill you.
And then I won't get paid.
Right. It's just been fantastic what we've been able to do with the design-wise.
Cool.
Really fun projects. Some projects are sometimes overwhelming to me, and it's interesting how Craig and I are so unique and different. We've been married 41 years, and we're still learning about each other.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is great.
And so sometimes some projects are so large, I'm like, I can't do this, you gotta do this. And then once he, starts talking and walking me through it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I got this, Some projects, we just break them up into smaller projects, We have a project coming up, it's gonna take almost the month of August to install.
Really?
Oh, wow.
It's that large. Now, normally, a project could take a day or 2.
Right.
This is a very large project. So I was just talking to the team this morning going, okay, this is coming up. We're going to look at it as like 3 projects that we've got on the books right now. So really unique and fun what we are able to do. Fantastic projects. I think my favorite is that I get to use this very warm color tone. It's by the manufacturer, they call it the Sunset. So it has a warm golden hue.
Oh, nice.
So we're getting away from bright white. I mean, we don't
The
even,
LEDs.
they're all LED integrated, which means they don't use light bulbs. The components are built into the fixture. They have a 20-year warranty.
Nice.
And then when it's properly designed, installed, and we also offer maintenance, that system is going to last many, many years.
That's cool.
It sounds like a big project.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see pictures when it's done.
Oh, yes, for
So-
sure.
So have you faced any challenges along the way?
There's always a challenge. And it
Loaded
is,
question.
right? Whether it's with a client, and sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't know you were thinking of that. We have gotten better, I think, with every challenge. It's like, okay, lesson learned. I think we're getting better at asking more questions. I may ask the question 5 times differently.
Yeah.
See if I'm getting the same answer back. We start using a questionnaire for our clients and ask them questions that gives them time to ponder while they're sitting there at the computer. A few years back, we did an install, and the client gave us some feedback afterwards. Well, I can't see that light from my bedroom window. which was on the second or third floor. And like, I didn't know that was the goal.
Right.
So now we're asking a lot more questions, trying to understand what their goal is.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the client really has a specific, they want this. Other times they're like, hey, you're the professional, you tell me.
Yeah,
And so-
I don't know what I don't know. You
Right.
show me.
But sometimes clients have, I want this, and I want a light on my front door. And I'm like, I understand what you want, but when you leave the front door, you're going to be blinded by that light. Oh, right. I said, but we can do something else. So they'll kind of get the juices started, and I'm starting to feel them out. Sometimes just sourcing material. We have our fantastic lights, and we want to hang it 4 feet from the tree. Well, how do you do that? And it's not like you can run into Home Depot and pick up this hanger. And so being able to have a crew that can create that,
Fabricate stuff?
yeah,
Oh, that's
pretty
amazing.
awesome.
That's amazing.
So
It sounds like you do a lot of big projects, but you know, people with smaller properties,
We do
smaller
small ones,
yards, I
too.
can imagine that even just that touch of light into a smaller space can really transform an
Yeah.
area. wouldn't you
we
say?
tell our clients that great lighting is addictive. And they laugh and chuckle, and then they tell me afterwards, you're right, I want more. So when we are designing for them, we're always going to create a comprehensive design and plan for them so that we can size the transformer and the wiring from the beginning.
Gotcha.
But we can certainly only install half of that. And once you see that half, you're like, okay, when can you come back? I'm like, you have to get to the back of the line again because I've got, 12 other projects in front of you. But we definitely do install small projects. It's not a matter of the size of the project. We definitely want to serve the client and what they want and what they can budget. So if we have a small project, it's like, great, we can get 2 of those small projects
Yeah.
in a day.
I just wanted to make sure that listeners understand that you're not going to turn away a small project if it,
No.
because everybody deserves great lighting.
I agree with
Right,
you
yeah.
100%, Pamela.
And I'm going to throw a disclaimer out there that this might not be correct, but I heard you say that you come out and you lay it out first for people.
We have, during the fall, winter, and spring, this is my first summer that I have taken off doing nighttime demonstrations.
Okay. Well, it's
So
10 o'clock
coming
at
up
night.
soon, yes, and you're coming home at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're getting back up again
Yeah,
at
no.
Yeah, no, thank
6,
you.
and I'm like, okay, something's got to go here. So yes, we do nighttime demonstrations where we meet with the client on site, usually by dusk, walk the property with them, get a feel for what they're looking for. We're certainly going to have a lot of ideas that we can do for them. And then we take the time to demonstrate various lumen intensities. I say I like soft and subtle, and I'll have a client go, yeah, I like that too. And then I show them what soft and subtle looks like, and they're like, oh, that's not bright enough, make it brighter. I'm like, okay, your definition of soft and subtle is different than
Correct,
mine. So it's all about understanding what their likes and dislikes are. We'll show them various Kelvin temperatures, which is that color tone of the light.
Is that the 3,000, the
Yes.
2,800?
We start at 3,000, we have 2,700 Kelvin, and we have the sunset line, which is that warm golden hue. And then we really are specific on the placement of the fixture. Sometimes I put a light on a tree, and I think, oh, that looks amazing. It's showing all the nooks and the crannies in the bark, the color tone, and the client's like, I don't like that. Okay, I'm not offended. This is your lighting, not mine. And I may move that light maybe 10, 12 inches away, and now I'm highlighting more of the canopy. Oh, that's perfect. So we want to flag and mark that spot. So
Right.
when the crew comes later, they know exactly where that light needs to go, so that the client is like, this is exactly what I thought it was going to look like when we're all done.
That's a
That's
great
great.
service.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm sitting here thinking about my next question, and it was, how do you stand out, in this really competitive field? But you just told us how you stand out in this field, basically.
Yeah.
There's no point.
She answered it already.
She did, yeah. I
We
mean, just
really
like
do love to
all of
serve
the-
our clients.
All
Yeah.
of those little details that maybe your competitors don't necessarily think about. I mean, I would never have thought to say, come round and show me what this is going to look like in dusk. I mean, I would think, okay, during the day, you just place them and you're good to go. But having that as a thing that you do for your
Yeah.
clients, I think speaks volumes about how dedicated you are to making sure that they have exactly what they want.
Also, I mean, we go even further down that hole. if you have an outdoor patio, I'm like, sit down in the chair. I want to make sure that light is not glaring into your eye at that level. Because you're standing up here, it's
Right.
like, yeah, this looks great. I'm like, okay, sit down. Or let's take a look around from this perspective, from that perspective. Go inside the house. Sometimes I've had a client, and again, I'm learning from the past.
Yeah.
I can't see my lighting. And then I go over some evening, I'm like, well, all of your lights inside the house are blasting. Of course you can't see through the window at
Right.
night.
Mm-hmm.
So we really determine, is this lighting something that you want to see when you're sitting on your patio, or more because you're inside the house?
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's inside the house, we know we have to counteract the lighting, the window, and
Right.
so that means it has to get juiced up a little bit more outside.
Right. Yeah, how are you using that space?
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right. So we really do think we serve our customers well.
Mm-hmm.
We have fantastic products, and we know how to install them.
Yeah.
We're not just taking a kit off the shelf and throwing path lights everywhere. We just are finishing up a project in Sammamish. When we arrived, imagine quite, a good acre or two, a bit of a slope with the property, so with that, when you're down on the street, you're, can see the pitch of the property. Someone vomited path lights everywhere, and you can just see all the lights, dots in your faces, and I'm like, I gotta take that out. We removed about 85 path lights, and we installed 35 very specific path lights, not your standard hat top, but ones that focus the light exactly on the steps where it needed to be, so you don't see any lighting at the street level.
Oh, that's
very
cool.
You just
Cool.
see this essence, like, wow, that's amazing. So we do really go the extra mile, I think, for our clients.
I think the moral of this story is, listeners, don't call anybody else, just call Mary.
I agree with you.
I think so too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm kind of blown away by the attention to detail, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I knew that you guys were dedicated to what you do, but I'm just sitting here and I'm like, I'm kind of in awe. Like,
Well, thank
I
you.
want to walk around some of the properties that she's done and see the projects.
Yes, well,
That's what you need, is
hopefully
a-
in the fall
you
you'll
need
be
a
coming to
field
my
trip.
place.
Yes.
We're
you
going to
need
be
field
having
trip.
a chamber event.
Should. Oh,
Yeah.
you are?
Oh,
Yeah, we're having
Oh.
a chamber event, I think the end of September, when it's hopefully a little bit darker.
Yeah.
But you'll get an idea of kind of what we
Oh,
do, some of the
fantastic.
lights. Of course, my place doesn't look as great as some of my clients, but
I'm sure it does. I'm
I'm
sure you're
sure it
being very
does.
modest. That's fantastic. I'm super excited for that.
So is there anything else you want to share with us as far as entrepreneurship and seizing opportunities, and how your families maybe overcome some of those things along the way?
well, we've definitely spent time in communication.
Oh,
I think that is key for any business, really, and more so for a family. I mean, we not only work together, but we love to play together. We just came back from Palm Desert, having a whole week, all 20 of us just hanging out.
wow.
We've
That's
got-
You
great.
guys must really like each other.
So we have 4 kids, 4 mates, and 10 grandkids.
Okay.
And so we have a good time together. We try to have monthly family meal, because even though we see each other all the time, you don't just hang out,
right. You're all business. So during the family time, is there business that's done?
Of course, it's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be like, oh, right, remember, or like, but for the most part, we definitely have our weekly team meetings. We have
Okay.
quarterly team meetings. We're all business. And we also have a book club that we started. We're reading through the book Communication Catalyst.
Okay.
Just giving you more ideas. And so here, parents with 4 adult kids, and you've got to remember they're adults, they're individual people, and I sometimes I get tuned in, like, hey, Mom, listen for a minute. Oh, okay. Because I can go 90 miles an hour, and that's my coach is trying to slow me down. Mary, just take your time. But just taking the time to communicate well. If something is offensive, you've got to clear the air.
Oh, for sure.
Hey, you stepped on my toes, you did this, and that's my territory. Right, sorry. I'm still learning how to delegate.
Right.
I'm used to doing it all, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, right, I don't need to do that anymore.
Now you have your cheerleaders, and they're
Right.
there to support and back you up.
Well, I think I finally have not finally arrived. I'm getting better at it. I just took up golf.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
But Craig has been wanting me to play golf for so long, and I'm like, I do not have any time to put towards that right now. But
like
the
six-
last few months, I'm like, I think I could do this now. So I'm like, sorry, kids, I'm going golfing. You gotta go do something.
I think
That's
maybe
awesome.
you've earned it, Mary.
Yeah.
I don't think they would begrudge you that
No,
time
no,
with
they're
your
really
husband
sweet.
and playing golf. That's great. I mean, for some people it can be challenging to start a business with family members,
For sure.
right? You know,
Right.
Is there any advice you can give anyone
I
that wants
think
to
it
do something
just
like that?
keeping that communication lane open. I mean, it's humbling. You want to be, as the parent, like kind of the perfect one,
the
and
be all, the end all, the know all,
right? And then you're like, oh, sorry, okay. I think I've gotten better at realizing I do make mistakes because I don't want to make mistakes. And then when I do, it really crushes me. I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not a brain surgeon. No one is dying on my table.
Yeah.
It's a light. We can move it. We can adjust it.
Right.
Some, you know. But I think for having a family business, I think it's amazing. You're never going to get better workers. You're never going to have a better team.
Yeah.
Everyone is involved. Everyone is invested 100%. And that's why we get such rave reviews. And so having a family business is just making sure you're able to organize, structure. I mean, Craig and I, when we were doing ourselves, we worked way too much. Like we worked the weekends. I didn't even ponder any kind of systems and structures in play. And now it's like Fridays, we don't take outside appointments. We are in office. We've got meetings. We've got setup. We've got cleanup. And you're like, wow, this is pretty awesome.
To have some structure
Yeah,
rather than running 100 miles an hour every
totally.
direction.
But when you're newly starting out, you're
Yeah.
just doing everything that you
Right.
need to do to keep the business rolling. And so now we're able to really have amazing structure. And it's just fantastic to see the kids in play, the grandkids coming along.
That's fantastic. Well, you're definitely a wonderful addition to the community, not
Yes,
just
for
for Northwest Outdoor Lighting, but also your involvement in the Chamber of Commerce. So I want to kind of shift gears just a little bit and talk about the local community, and as a family-owned business, how do you see Northwest Outdoor Lighting contributing to the growth and development of the community you serve? And there are any initiatives or partnerships you're involved in that you'd like to highlight?
It's funny, I remember when we first moved here, I didn't join the chamber specifically because I didn't want it to be just a grab for business. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. And then within a year or two, I'm like, I just want to be part of my community. I want to walk into the grocery store and see you and go, hey, Pamela. So I've been part of the chamber for quite some time. I really we just enjoy meeting people. There's always something interesting going on in someone else's world. So we want to stay active in our community that way. We are very active with Acres of Diamonds. It's a women's shelter in Duval. We not only support them financially, but we actually installed lighting for them so that the women feel safe. Duval can be pretty dark. So we have a couple of women's shelters that we want to make sure these women are taken care of.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
they're
really cool.
starting, a new life, a new chapter, and so how can we boost them up? We know lighting changes people's world. I know it's a funny little thing. It's just lighting. I mean, but we heard it so many times from our customers. This is life changing for me. I come home. I've had a crappy, day at work, and I come home and I'm like, I'm home. It feels like you just came home to a resort. And so it does change people's world, and it doesn't give you that prison floodlight look.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to be active in our community. We do have a partnership with Classic Nursery we just formulated. They're a fantastic nursery that they've been in town for so long. They're very busy, installing beautiful plantings, and so we're coming along beside them, installing the lighting for them.
That's great.
So that's a fantastic partnership for us.
I love the collaboration, but more so the Acre of Diamonds. I wanted to make sure that we highlighted.
Yeah, we love them.
That you're giving back to the community in so many ways, not just with the light, but how you kind of approach it, and the work that you do with the chamber, because you're an ambassador, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought I had to get that one in.
Thank you.
It's funny
Mary's
you
super
mentioned.
busy.
It's really funny you mentioned. I joined the chamber to get business 10 years ago, and as soon as I stopped with that mindset 5 years ago, it was so much better, and just to serve the community and not worry about where your next business is coming from.
When we lived back in the East Coast, I think our overhead puts a lot of pressure on you.
Sure.
And so you become driven.
Yeah.
And so when moving here, we really know we want to keep our overhead low. Takes the pressure off. You know, if I don't work, I don't work, but nothing's going down if I don't work, you
Right.
know. So I think not putting that pressure on you is just takes an edge off. And I think people feel that energy.
Oh, for sure. For sure they do, yeah. In real estate, we call it commission breath.
Did you say commission breath?
I did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've not heard that before.
Yeah.
But I can
That's
understand what that
interesting.
means,
Mhm.
though.
When you're at
Right?
an open house and then, you know, the guys...
Are you going to say, I'm going to sign? You going to sign?
Yeah, that's commission breath.
Oh, wow.
But it's so much, it's way more fulfilling to not have an agenda, you know,
Yeah.
other than to just add value to others.
Right.
Just making that connection just makes you feel good.
Yeah, for sure.
We meet so many interesting people.
Oh, yeah.
We just got an invite from a new client that we met Monday to go to the Bentley on Bellevue show this Saturday.
Oh,
We're like,
wow.
sweet.
That sounds very fancy.
I know.
Yeah.
Gonna have to polish my
Bougie,
shoes up.
Yeah, bougie indeed. Yeah. All right. So, final thought. We love our community. You clearly do too. Can you share with our listeners some of the maybe hidden gems of Woodinville that you'd like to share, or places that you and your family like to frequent in Woodinville and the surrounding area? It doesn't have to just be Woodinville, but just
I love Woodinville.
I know it's pretty.
I know
special.
some people don't like the growth that's happening, but I do love to see that it's great design. It's
Yeah.
being purposeful the best it can be done. I mean, you can't suppress, you know, advancement. So it's really fun just to be in town. You know, all the great restaurants. I'm so thrilled that How to Cook a Wolf is coming into town.
Yeah.
Walla Walla, I was at Walla Walla Steakhouse Tuesday night.
Oh, sweet.
The different ice cream shops. One really fun thing we just found was the Snohomish Valley Golf Park or something like that.
Oh.
So it's a driving range. They've got a putting green.
Oh,
They've
yeah,
got
it's off
mini
the,
putt
It's off Marsh Road down there, right?
Yeah.
In Snohomish.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they have these in the center aisle. It's all a covered, you know, patio. They've got big surround sound couches. They serve food and drink there, so you can go off to the driving range. They've got the TrackMan there that shows you how you're hitting and your speed and all that stuff. You can be ordering food and drinks, and then that's the couch area. Then on each wing, they've got tables and chairs, and then the furthest wings, they don't have anything. It's just the driving range. But we just found that, and we're like, this is cool.
I'd never heard of it.
I
Have
know.
you?
My daughter went there with her new,
Oh, wow.
new friend.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty fun that we
I'll need
just
to tell
found.
my husband. He's a golfer, so yeah. Huh.
And it's fun if you don't golf. You're just sitting there eating
Yeah.
and drinking, watching
Sounds like you got
them.
something for everybody.
Yeah.
Sit there with a cocktail and something to eat
Yep.
while everyone else gets some exercise. Love it.
Do it again.
Do it again, exactly.
Top
Yeah.
golf of Snohomish.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, that was all fantastic. We're going to take another really quick break, and then we'll be back with our real estate roundup where Troy is going to share some information with us. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this really
See you in
short
a minute.
break.
Family Growers brings you the Pumpkin Farm and Puzzle Patch to the Hollywood District in Woodinville, opening September 23rd through November 1st. Get lost in miles of trails on the corn maze, take a leisurely stroll through the sunflower walk, or enjoy selecting the perfect pumpkin, squash, or gourd off the vine in the pumpkin patch. Walk through our flower gardens to build yourself a bouquet to take home. Watch for events on our Instagram at JB Family Growers or on our website, jbfamilygrowers.com. Located right next to Chateau Ste. Michelle at 14063 Northeast 145th Street in Woodinville.
All right, well, welcome back to TLC, 10 Life Community Podcast. I'm here with Troy, I'm Pamela, and Mary Peterson from Northwest Outdoor Lighting. We're going to start with our real estate roundup. Are you ready, Troy?
I'm ready.
Question of the week. Okay.
Oh, boy. Got me
You
on the
sure
spot.
you're ready?
I'm ready.
Johnny on the spot.
Yes.
Here we go. So, when considering making updates to your home, you know, there's things that in this current market, a lot of people are staying in their houses, so rather than moving, they wanted to make upgrades. And one of those questions that really comes up a lot of the time is, what are those upgrades, updates, or remodels that will actually end up adding value to the home? You know, we've all heard of those things. Well, don't really spend your money on that because it's not going to give you any additional value at the end of the day. So Can you share with us what people can do, areas or rooms that's going to give them the biggest bang for their buck
Yeah,
when it comes to improvements?
for sure. So typically, the biggest bang for the buck is going to be your kitchen area.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you're planning to stay in the house, I would definitely consider doing that, making it more desirable if you're, in a house that's 20 years old or whatever, and that's going to give you the most bang for the buck, and it's going to have longevity too. So, remodels last, 10 to 15 years, kind of style and function.
Yeah.
New stuff comes in every 10 to 15 years, and like back 10 or 15 years ago, we're like, oh, I can't wait until they say granite's out of style. Well, granite's kind of out of style now. Quartz is the king. So, yeah. And then the next spot to consider improving is going to be the primary or master bedroom, bathroom area. That's where you typically spend a bit of time in, getting ready in the morning and turning down for the evening. So that's also going to have longevity as far as home values go. If I was to walk into your house and you were saying, okay, I'm gonna put it up for sale, the things I'm looking for are paint and carpet and aesthetics. And I chat GPT'd improvements this afternoon, and the third one on the list was outdoor landscaping. So making sure the outdoor is lit up and nice, and the curb appeal is, it's going to get your...
Yeah, but it gets people excited, right? I mean, I know we did a lot of landscape and stuff, and we have all lighting and stuff, so I know the appeal of that. When you walk in, it's exciting. Like, this is a cozy space. It's, Yeah, so where was I going with that? So, paint and carpet, if you're going to go on the market, you definitely have to have those in tip-top shape. And then from there, I just kind of micro-assess, if you've got old 80s beige-colored kitchen tiles and you have the money to maybe upgrade to quartz but don't want to do a full kitchen remodel, we cost analysis that and see how that's going to play out. So, it kind of depends. But those are the top three. You got curb appeal, you got your kitchen, and then your master or primary bedroom, bathroom area. And then if you're going to go on the market, you definitely have to have that curb appeal, and paint and carpet is in good shape. People don't want to move into a project like that. Right, and I know there could be this kind of mindset when you know that you're putting your house on the market. Well, I don't really want to spend money on carpet and paint, but we know the value of that. So Troy, just a kind of a side note, can you just kind of explain the difference of that, making that investment or having you make the investment, if you're listing the house for somebody, can actually have the impact it can actually have on what people can get for their home?
Yeah, perfect example. I took on a house down south, and they had been in the house for 15 years and basically turned the front door key and didn't do anything else. So we went in and provided the flooring, so we did luxury vinyl and carpet, and then painted the whole house inside and out, and we paid for all that up front, and then we ended up selling it for $50,000 more than what my initial estimate was, of how much the house would sell for. I think we spent $30,000 on the paint and carpet and upgrades, so and it sold quickly.
Yeah, it was like, I just got the marketing done and like, oh, it's gone. Like, oh, there's my social media post out the window.
So, with house prices being up and interest rates being higher than they have been in the past, people's affordability levels are definitely, running that red line sometimes, and they just don't have the ability to, to buy a house, pay the top dollar, and be able to do the paint and carpet or whatever improvements are needed. So I definitely recommend that you look at that, and even if it's dollar for dollar, but it helps the appeal. Yeah, it's definitely worth it, because you want to.
Well, if you can sell it quickly and you don't have to have it be staged and ready for every knock on the door.
And if you're living there, it's kind of a pain to have your house on the market and have people come traipsing through there at 7:00 at night when you just want to sit on the couch.
Yeah, so I would agree with that. Yeah. All right, any final thoughts?
Yes. Have us out and have an assessment done and hire a professional like Mary to make sure that your house has a great curb appeal and is going to appeal to the masses.
Okay. All right. So, Mary, where can people find you so that they can have all this wonderful lighting and have great curb appeal and enjoy it for the ambiance too?
Yeah, it's true. Well, you can find us at Northwest Outdoor Lighting on the website. You can always find us on Instagram, Facebook. You can always give me a call at 425-633-6074, and we'll be there for you.
Wonderful. And Troy,
Nice.
if somebody wants some advice on what they should or shouldn't do with respect to upgrades, getting their house ready to put on the market, how can they get hold of you?
We are also found at tendhometeam.com, or you can Google Troy Anderson Realtor, and we'll come right up.
And if I want to call you,
206-504-3660.
all right, wonderful. Well, if you've enjoyed this podcast, we encourage you to like and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, you can.
Ding the dinger.
Found the porch.
Yeah.
Ding the dinger and pound the porch. Oh boy.
Yeah, that sounds so wrong.
It does.
All right. Well, thanks very much for listening, everybody.
Thanks.
We'll catch you next time. Thank you very
Cheers.
much, Mary.
Sure
Thank you,
thing.
Mary.
Bye-bye.
Did you know JB Instant Lawn is more than just sod? We planted seeds of development and now offer a new experience. JB Family Growers is home to the Lavender Farm and Flower Market and the Pumpkin Farm and Puzzle Patch. Acres of beauty to enjoy through your summer and fall. Come check us out right next to Chateau Ste. Michelle at 14063 Northeast 145th Street in Woodinville. We look forward to seeing you there.